So I was talking with a friend about ice cream, and they said, have you ever noticed on ice cream packaging, some of the ice cream says frozen dairy product? And this is something I never noticed about ice cream packaging, so I started looking at every single brand. And once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Most of the brands of ice cream all say frozen dairy product on one of the ice cream canisters or another. And then on some of the other packaging, it just says ice cream. And this did surprise me because it turns out all the ice cream flavors I did enjoy were in fact not ice cream, they were frozen dairy dessert. Now, I don't actually think ice cream is some big scam, at least mostly, but it really did surprise me these packages said frozen dairy product my entire life, because I always consider this stuff to be ice cream, but no, it's frozen dairy product. And I'm someone who reads nutritional labels for like calorie information, so me not noticing this was a bit of a jump scare. But I will say, whoever designed this packaging did a fantastic job at hiding this, because I didn't notice for like 25 years. And before we jump down the ice cream rabbit hole any further, have you ever put off going to the doctor? Because I know I have. I had a mild form of asthma my entire life up until I was 20 and decided to finally deal with it, but I didn't know where to start. And that's why I'm glad I found Zocdoc, today's video sponsor, to help me solve my problem. Zocdoc is great for finding doctors in your area that are covered under your insurance. You're not given a surprise bill when you go to the doctor. And even if you don't have insurance, Zocdoc is a great way to filter for doctors who would take you without insurance. And Zocdoc is completely free. And I really wish I knew about Zocdoc sooner, because really it is hard to find a doctor within network that is going to be a good match for you. And using Zocdoc, I found a doctor extremely quickly, and the doctor was great to work with, and I got prescribed an inhaler, and it's been easier to exercise ever since. And if you need something besides a general practitioner, you can also search for specialized doctors within your area as well as under your insurance and see if you're covered. And Zocdoc has more than 100,000 healthcare specialties listed for almost anything you would ever need. And the best part is when you're looking for a doctor, you can see verified patient reviews, so you can thoroughly look through to see if a doctor is a good fit for you. You can also see their appointment openings right on the website and book on the website. Just choose a time that works for you and click to book a visit. And Zocdoc appointments typically happen within 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes the same day, which is super nice, by the way. So what are you waiting for? Stop putting off that doctor's visit for whatever issue you may have, and go to Zocdoc.com/spatnz to try Zocdoc today and find a doctor in your area. Seriously, if you have an issue like mine, just go see a doctor. I should have done this when I was like 15. Now, the reason I speculate ice cream companies don't really want you to notice that the ice cream next to their ice cream isn't actually ice cream, it's frozen dairy product, is because frozen dairy product is kind of an inferior product. It turns out there's actually an insane amount of guidelines for ice cream. Like, I expected there to be safety regulations because ice cream is a dairy product and that's pretty well regulated. And besides a few people who like drinking raw milk, I think we all agree that dairy regulation's a good thing. But what I didn't expect was a long list of ice cream quality qualifications that determines what is actually ice cream and what isn't. So first off, ice cream is only considered ice cream if it's at least 10% milk fat. So anything below 10% milk fat is no longer considered ice cream. And milk fat is important to ice cream because it adds flavor as well as like a smooth texture. So to get actual ice cream, you need at least 10% milk fat in the ice cream. If you want reduced fat ice cream, the ice cream has to contain at least 25% less than total fat of the reference product. So if an ice cream company sells a 10% milk fat ice cream, the reduced fat option is to be at least 7.5% milk fat. And then after reduced fat, we have light ice cream, which would be 50% less milk fat than the reference product, or at least 33% calories less. And then next we have low fat, which contains a maximum of 3 grams of fat per serving. And then we have non-fat ice cream, which is to contain less than 0.5 grams per fat per serving. Now, in hindsight, the fact that these standards exist makes sense to me. I did always feel like my cookie dough ice cream was like a worse quality ice cream than just like the vanilla flavor. Like, it makes a lot of sense as to why I felt that way, and it wasn't just made up in my head. Now, along with ice cream being separated by fat content, they're also separated by manufacturing process and quality level. And surprisingly, real ice cream is not even the top of this list. It's the second lowest quality on the list, right above economy, which is no longer ice cream. So all the ice cream packages that say frozen dairy product on them are considered the economy option for ice cream. Now, I don't really have an issue with buying a lower quality product if it's cheaper, but the problem with that is frozen dairy product is not really cheaper. It's like the same cost as regular ice cream, which is a little annoying because, as we've learned today, frozen dairy product is quite literally an inferior product compared to ice cream. It's just a worse thing to be eating. And on top of the economy tier just not being as good as regular ice cream and above, the economy tier also has more overrun in it, which is literally just air. Now, this isn't the same kind of air they put in a Lay's chip bag just to make you feel like the bag is bigger, okay? It's a little bit different. The air in ice cream and frozen dairy products is there to stop it from freezing into a hard block of ice. So it's actually there for like some kind of purpose, but it still doesn't change the fact if you buy a frozen dairy product, you're still getting more air in your ice cream versus like actual ice cream. And to be clear, all the tiers of ice ice cream have overrun. It's just the lower quality ones have more overrun, so more air. And from what I can tell, almost every brand of ice cream does this little trick where they sell frozen dairy dessert next to real ice cream and hope you don't really notice. And I hate to say it, but it has worked, okay? Now, realistically, is this the worst business practice in the world? Absolutely not, okay? This is not that big of a deal. There are so many worse business practices than just this. Like, for example, Amazon Basics is cheaper than everything, but they have tons of allegations of just straight up stealing designs. That, in my opinion, is a way worse business practice than selling frozen dairy dessert and kind of tricking me into thinking it's ice cream. And on top of that, if I'm being fair to the ice cream companies, they're probably using frozen dairy desserts to subsidize their actual ice cream because it does cost more to make, and they're selling these two things at the same cost. They're probably not making as much money on the actual ice cream. Now, if I'm wrong about that, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed. But there's no way to know for sure with that. That's just speculation on my part. And I just think this was interesting because I literally never noticed this at all. And yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe if you're new, and click the intro down, check out all my content, and have a good one.